Hi, I'm Bryce, and I've made rules for adding airships into your favorite role-playing game. My current project is a campaign setting where you'll need those airships to get between floating islands. But what this video is about is making these tiny little cardboard airships that you can use in ship-to-ship combat, and you could even use them for ocean-going vessels and not airships at all. They're super easy to make and kind of cute, so let's get started making them. Okay, we're going to need a few tools. First, we're going to need some sort of cutting tool, either a box cutter or an X-Acto knife. You can also use a pair of scissors for this, and we'll need the scissors anyway. We'll also need some glue. It doesn't really matter what kind of glue you use. And we'll need a pencil and a straight edge for guiding cuts. The last thing that you need that's a tool isn't strictly necessary. It's a cutting mat. I find these to be very helpful. If you don't have one, that's fine. Just try to be careful and not cut up your furniture. And then for the actual ships, we're going to need some cardboard. This is way more cardboard than we're going to use. And then we'll need a piece of paper. This will be used for the sails, but also as a template. And then lastly, we will need some toothpicks. The way airships work in my rules is that there are size categories for ships. This ship here represents a size 3. The basic rule of thumb is that it's about half an inch per size. So you actually can make the size 3 ship be 1.5 inches, you can see there. And then this here is a size 4 ship, which is 2 whole inches. Let's make a size 4 ship. I think a size 3 works out to be the best size for players to actually get. So there's 3 layers, 2 that are the full size of the ship and 1 poop deck here. So let's cut a couple of these out. Line this up square. So that is 2 inches. And then we're gonna find 1 inch mark and push down hard with my left hand and then run the knife along. I might have to come back in. Okay, so that's 1. If you get a little bit of tape, because often they have a little bit of tape stuck on them, that's fine. Sometimes I peel it off and sometimes I just leave it on. We're gonna need 2 full-size ones and then 1 half one. Being very precise is not important here. Okay, so we have 3 of these. They're close to the same size. The next thing we're gonna do is cut ourselves a little template. I'm gonna cut the exact same shape, but out of just regular paper. So 1, 2, and I'm gonna come down here. So this is 1 inch by 2 inches. And then I'm gonna use scissors. I'm not really being very precise. We're gonna trim this down. This is the same size as our other ones, close to anyway. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna fold it in half. I, for one, am not particularly good at getting things symmetrical without using tricks. So we're gonna fold this in half and we're gonna get symmetry for free. Very nice. Now we just have to cut this into a boat shape. Start at the point and we're gonna come down into the side and then we will take the back little corner off and that will give us a nice boat shape. I'm gonna get close to my line. It doesn't even have to be on the line. If it gets to be boat shaped in the end, then it doesn't matter whether you're on the lines. So here we go, a boat. Very nice. I'm gonna take my little pieces here and I'm going to line up that back part and let's trace our template onto it. And we're going to use our knife. We're going to cut everything that isn't a boat out of the boat. Here's the problem with using the part that has the tape on it, is that the tape is harder to cut. It's often the case that the back paper of the cardboard stays stuck. Sometimes you just turn it over and score it, and then it comes off. Okay, that's pretty good. It's pretty close to the shape of a boat. Let's do it again. And then the last one, really, I only care about the back half. Like the back third of it will be the poop deck. Now, I'm drawing several light little passes, and I'm going to end up with a better cut. So there they are, all lined up. Let's glue these together. So you've glued things together before, so I don't really need to tell you much about this. If I was going to do a whole lot of these in one go, like say I was making a whole armada, I would use hot glue. Okay, so there we go. Here's our ship. I'm going to move this to the side, and then we're going to get to work on our masts. So masts don't have to be that big. I'm going to make this about 1 inch tall. Yeah, about 1 inch. And then the width is maybe just a little bit shorter than that. We're going to come in and just take our knife, and I'm going to line this up here, and I'm going to cut 1 inch. The easiest way to do this is to kind of roll it. I'm going to make my knife longer. That's one of the reasons I like this kind. I need it to be longer so I can roll it along. If you push really hard, what ends up happening is it goes flying. But if I just cut a little groove in the outside like that, and then I can snap it and it just pops right off. So that's the bottom. And then I need to cut the yard. It goes across the mast and holds the sail. And the same thing, I roll it forward and then it should just snap. Perfect. The next step is to cut a little notch right in the middle. I'm gonna cut in and then down like that. And then a little teeny tiny notch gets cut out. And I'm gonna do the same thing at the top of this part. We need the spiky bit to go down. So I'm gonna come down a little from the top, cut down. We're not applying a lot of force, a little pop. And then that little notch cuts out. And now I'm gonna apply just a little dab of glue. Doesn't take much. And then I'm gonna line up the 2 notches. I can feel that like sticking in. It's easy to register the 2 together. So now that's gonna sit and dry. I'm gonna take an extra toothpick and just stick it in here. Just gonna come a little bit before where the poop deck is, kind of in the middle, and just stab it. So now we've made a little hole, and that'll be great for sticking our dried mast in. The last thing we need to do is just cut a little tiny square of paper. And once the glue dries, that's it. You have some airships to add to your tabletop role-playing game. If you would like some rules for how to use them, or a campaign setting where they'll be very useful, you can check out the link below. Currently, there's a Kickstarter going on for the Pleiades Archipelago, but you can pick up both zines there. If you're watching this after the Kickstarter is all the way done, then I'll provide a link for how to get them below. Thank you so much. See you next time.